Hi friends, my name is Emily and welcome back to my channel. Today you're gonna watch me tidy and reorganize and give you a little tour of my bookshelves in April of 2020. This involves me pulling off all of the knickknacks, giving everything a good vacuum and a dust, unhauling some books, and then being a little bit more ruthless and unhauling some more as I worked to shift my books from the top left-hand corner, because I wanted all of my children's lit together, down to the end of my collection, which is out of shot behind the bed, which is nonfiction. So one of the first things that I did was sketch out a plan. So I have, as you've seen, 6 shelves, and this is the plan for how I want to move things. So my first step is going to be to take everything that's not a book off these shelves. All of the stuff that is not books, which is actually like a ridiculous amount of stuff, I'm a little bit horrified. All of the stuff that is not a book are off of these shelves, so I'm going to grab the vacuum cleaner, do a little bit of vacuuming to get rid of this dust because it is very dusty in here now that I have disrupted things, and then after that, everything being a little bit cleaner, I'm going to start shifting. everything is vacuumed. So now it's time to go through the shelves, and I am actually going to unhaul, knowing that very soon, like within the next year hopefully, my partner and I will be moving into a house, and the size of these houses, I am going to have to unhaul things that I have been holding on to and like be a little bit, I guess, choosy about what I keep. It's hard because I keep so much of this stuff because like I have a lot of emotional attachment to it. So I don't know, I can't see myself unhauling a lot, but I am gonna go through and try and unhaul things. The reason I'm doing that first is so that if I unhaul a lot, I might not have to shift as much. So. Two copies of the Hunger Games, but one of them has all of my annotations. So I'm gonna keep them both for now. I think it is time to pass these along. Oops, not perks. These were fun. I think everybody went through, well, almost everybody went through a Twilight phase. I'm waiting for the next Twilight book to come out. Books. I never continued with the series, never finished the series, so it is time to let them go. These were fun, but will I ever read them again? Oh, something hatched in it. Oh, that's beautiful. And we need to unhaul it. I did not love this, but you know what? I've always meant to give it another chance. The Wanderers. Yep. It's time to get rid of that. Okay, here's a book that I really liked at the time, My Sister's Keeper. But I also own the film, and realistically, will I ever reread the book when I have the DVD? Oh, this was trash. This was hot trash. I was sent this. It's an advanced reader's copy. Graphic novels, but not this graphic novel, because this I didn't enjoy, and it's an ARC. Can't sell an ARC, so. So we have Stephen King. I'm keeping Stephen King. It's hard to tell what else is on here. Let's bring you over here. Now I'm probably going to be keeping most of the horror, fantasy. This is kind of my jam. Actually, I think the only thing that I might unhaul are the two self-published books. Very early on in my booktube time, I accepted two self-published books, and they were all right. There were pros and cons. If we're thinking about space, if we're thinking about things I'm probably never going to read again, but I feel really bad because these are, I have to think about those. Probably never gonna read that again because I hated that. Whoops, threw it on the floor. That's how much I hated it. Didn't like that. I really liked The Great Big Beautiful Tomorrow. That was good. Reincarnation Blues was interesting, but again, it's an ARC, and I will probably never read it again. Charles Stross. Let's again just say goodbye to Charles Stross. You know what? I think Reincarnation Blues, it's an ARC, it's gonna go. It has my notes in it, that's why I'm strip covering it. Anything without my notes, I'll give away, but a lot of this stuff has too much of myself in it to just donate. So we are over here with the Nonfiction. Witches of America I didn't really enjoy. Yep, this one we're getting rid of. So here we go, pile of things that I'm going to pass along to other humans. It's time for them to go. We have mental health. Okay. Am I ever gonna read this again? Probably not. Dick Chambers. Is anything else in here kind of sci-fi? I don't think so. We have Lord of the Rings is. Hobbit. Here. Wait, it doesn't shift all the way back. And it's not enough. Read this. Oh, no. Yeah. Okay, where was yes. Yes. Read that again. Read on these. Yeah. Oh, we're going up here. Okay, I'm done. Trash. No. Okay. I'm ready to get rid of these, I think. If I wanted to re-experience these, I would probably borrow them on audio from the library. The reason I'm doing this is because I was a kid that tucked money into books. I am gonna keep Sarah J. Maas because I feel like there is a video series in there. Okay. See? We can exit over there. I think we leave I love these. Next series, grab series. There we go. No, The one thing that I still have to tackle is Harry Potter and Tamora Pierce. Those are like favorites, and I kind of want to display them nicely. So here's what I'm working with for Tamora Pierce. I have the mass markets. These are my childhood copies, and I'm not parting with them. Okay. Now here's the real question. How did I end up with... I must have bought one of these for somebody else, and then maybe they already had it? Okay, I'm not touching Tamora Pierce. She's staying the way she is. I think this is the red shelves completed. Now as you can see, there is just a little bit of wiggle room in 9 to 12. There's really no wiggle room in teen or in anything else. Picture books, board books, 6 to 8 runs into 9 to 12, which runs into young adult. The lighting is a little bit weird, sorry about that. Then we have young adult alphabetically broken up by Harry Potter and Tamora Pierce, which are two of my favorite series, and I wanted to feature them and keep them all together. And so the rest of the alphabet continues down below. At the top here we have the end of teen, Canlit anthologies. Canlit runs down onto the next shelf. We have anthologies for general fiction, and it's alphabetical. And it runs down into drama and graphic novels and manga, feminist nonfiction, stuff on writing or art. I have fairy tales or things that involve fairy tales, folk stories, science fiction, fantasy. I made the choice to stack the mass markets, and the wiggle room here is double stacking the mass markets. So going from like Kohl's standards to bringing this guy forward in front of this. I have the Dark Tower at the end of horror, beginning a fantasy, because to me it's an epic fantasy. Horror is alphabetical. Stephen King is completely disorganized. There's no rhyme or reason. Ideally, if I had the space And one day when I have the space, he will be in publication order. And then right at the beginning of horror, I have alphabetically Joe Hill and Shirley Jackson. Woohoo! I got my little shelf talker right here. I'm pleased with how these turned out. And this is what I'm unhauling. I got a little cutthroat there when I was trying to fit in the things that I really do want to keep. I also discovered that I have multiple copies of things. Like, I think publishers sent finished copies of What If It Sets to Work, and like I grabbed one. So now it's just time to sort of tackle the unread books to make them accessible and tidy. So that is my next plan. And then I'm gonna put back all of the objects, all of the beautiful objects. I know they do look very nice and clean like this, and I mean, ideally, I would not be such a clutter bug, but this is it. This is what's happening. This is tidier. The DVDs and television shows are behind the mass markets up at the top there. I have a little bit of space on both of these shelves to spread out my art supplies and the notebooks that I'm currently working out of, so that like at the end of the day I can clear off my desk. I'm working on that currently. On this shelf I have my April TBR, the books that I have started and I'm in the middle of, and then this shelf is all women and other fiction, and then up at the top are the mass markets and some old books that I got from my grandmother when we cleaned out her house. And then the bottom is just the art supplies that I've been playing with, so I want to keep accessible, but maybe I could spread them out a little bit because I have some space now. So I am going to put back all of the knickknacks. So the TBR, it is what it is. It has things that bring me joy on it. I have my house hippo, which probably only Canadian children will get. I have Linda, who is my kindred spirit. This is a TY Beanie Boo that shares the same birthday as me. I have my little Chilling Adventures of Sabrina doodad. I have these pins. I've got my watercolor stuff. Again, I'm gonna have to fine tune this as I use it. There's watercolor stuff everywhere. Like, I've got watercolor paper and notebooks and sketchbooks, and pencil crayons are in this tub here. Like washi and all this craft stuff. These are the various projects I'm working on. This is actually season 3. I haven't switched out the paper yet. This I didn't touch. It is photo albums, like memory stuff and language learning stuff, and then plant food. These are cards, so I can fill out birthday cards or just blank cute birthday cards. I have the notebooks that I'm currently writing in for various projects. These are the markers that I'm using currently in my current planner setup. Fine liners. These are all the markers that I use to color code my budget. Again, washi and like paper stuff that I'm using for bullet journaling. I guess Geoffrey Eugenides and Shakespeare don't belong in that pile, but they're gonna live there for now. That's Margaret Atwood. She's in a timeout. Again, in a video, I don't know if it ever went public. It was a video that my patrons have definitely seen, or have access to anyway. There was a tag at some point that was like, do you have nerdy memorabilia? And I was like, yes I do. I went through a phase of impulse buying Funko Pops because they brought me joy, and now I don't know if I like them. Like, I think there are definitely some of them that I think are cute. Like, I think these guys are adorable, and like I have a ton of plants and I can totally see myself working them in their little gardening outfits in between the plants. I think the golden trio and what do we call these? The silver trio, Neville, Ginny, and Luna. I think those are all things that I enjoy having. but like there's actually quite a bit of stuff here that, oh, Hagrid, definitely Hagrid. But there's definitely some Funko Pops that I impulse bought and I don't know what to do with. Anyways, I have some beautiful family photos. This is my beautiful grandmother. She was a huge part of my life, and she passed away and it was devastating. And so I have this little frame. The pictures are for me. Like, obviously, I think if you had a house, or if I had a house and I could build like a picture wall, I would hang a lot of these opposed to sticking them on my bookcase. I have this creepy clown and more traditional Funko Pop. I do enjoy like the one-off Funko Pops. Like I like my Jon Snow, I like my Linda, I like my It. Anyways, this is a little witch that I crocheted. She was one of the first projects that I made. Like, obviously I have learned since, and I would not attach her head this way. I love crocheting. I love making these little emigramis. So I'm putting her here because she belongs in horror fantasy too. Look at her little hat. Oh, she's so cute. Let's see if I have any more indigo bags. I think it might be satisfying to watch me pack up the books I plan on hauling. Weird things where sometimes like, I held on to for so long that they were such a big part of my life. So yeah, I think really have to. These. Remember this. Cute bookmark. I have these for Christmas. I have them all. I invariably remember this one for Christmas that at my parents' house. I hate the photos. I hate those photos. I have a friend who would probably get a kick out of this and this. So there we go. I'm with the shades. I'm probably never going to read Girl Friend. I'll read no evidence. It's impulse, the help. I enjoy the help, but I mean, there are so many problems with it. That. Okay. I have sent unsolicited list of sin, if you're there. There's a bunch of boxes now closed. There is various FBI, FBI on back of those exploitation entities. And this is so bad. Oh my God, so bad I won't get to anyone. And it has so many notes in it. Okay. Now that everything is covered in dust, I am going to change the sheet. That was the purpose of stripping the comforter and stuff off, was I didn't want to get it all dusty because it's easier to wash a sheet than it is to wash like a comforter because it takes longer to dry. I'm gonna make my bed and then I'm gonna show off the space. Ooh. So that brings us to the end of my April 2020 bookshelf tidy and tour. Have you been using this time to do some of those like big projects that are on your list? I haven't been feeling super motivated all of the time, but I was feeling motivated for this today, so I just jumped on it. I have nothing else to do, so why not jump on the impulse of a good tidy? And I feel really happy with how it's organized, and having everything in their homes makes me very happy as well. It was fun to sort of assess what I have and what I want to continue to have in my life. This was my patrons' choice for the month of April. They voted on this topic. Before we go, we do have to thank my patrons for their support. Thank you, patrons, for making videos like this and longer form projects like Lumos possible. I really appreciate the work that you are enabling me to do. If you are interested in becoming a patron and supporting the channel, links to the Patreon page are in the description box down below. Thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you soon. Bye.